Go live. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. Greetings, everyone. We're going live. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. We're going live. We're going live. Welcome. The topic of this video tonight is going to be open forum Q&A, free consultation tonight only with questions you guys may have. First, as usual, before we get started, I'd like to give a disclaimer. This video is going to be for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research regarding the matter being discussed. The information is not to be construed as legal advice. Please keep in mind it is encouraged. It's up to everyone. If you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource channel is not liable or responsible for anyone's misuse of the information being presented. With that being said, all rights are reserved. Please keep in mind everyone is responsible for their own commercial affairs. Now, let's get into this. The topic, once again, this is open forum Q&A, free consultation. I'm not sure how many we're going to get into the chat section. But first, as usual, I'm going to go over some information. I had a subscriber. They had actually consultation before, and I figured I would the questions that I can't answer. There might be questions I may not. Just to be honest with you guys, I may have to direct you to another source. I may not know, but I'll do my level best to be of assistance as usual. Similarly, when I do private consultations, by the way, I appreciate you all who do or who have signed up for that and spoken to me privately. By the way, as I say, check the description box under beneath the video when after this video uploads. There's a subscriber who contacted me and he had a really good question, and I know there's people in the past that have had the same question, so I'm going to go over uh, the question that he had and how I answered it. By the way, he said, "How's it going, Brother Dorsey? Checking to see if you would happen to know where to file the affidavit and authentication paperwork now." So it's kind of, in a way, it was kind of vague. There's paperwork regarding those of you all who are familiar with the redemption process. If you have filed, done that authentication, I can't say things have changed versus when I filed back in 2014. Things that had changed even at that time. It's constantly evolving situation because there's gatekeepers that are trying to keep people from accessing their freedom. I'm gonna just be straight up with you guys. Many of you are already aware of this. It may depend on the various states, jurisdictions that you're located in, what the laws are. But I went over some legal maneuvers unofficially. This is not legal advice, by the way. That's why I do give a disclaimer. However, this information is powerful. If you do have a legal background, it will help if you know about the private sector dealing with the redemption process. See, Jakisha in the building says, "Peace and blessings, Dorsey. Haven't seen you in a long time, Keisha. Greetings. Welcome. Appreciate you." So once again, anyone out there, you guys have questions, don't hesitate to chime in. I wanted to come before you guys earlier. I apologize if it's late, but that's why I said this time I'll surprise you all for the first time. I'll go more in depth, but that may depend because I'm on a time restraint. As usual, you guys know where I'm already where I'm at, but I'm doing something a little different, a little slightly different. I've had Q&As before, but this one I'm going to try to tackle. If you guys have any questions, you really I don't know the next time I can say when I'm gonna do this again, by the way, but you can always set up a consultation if there's something you want to know. If there's a document you may feel I may have, or you want me to go more in depth about certain things, real information, what works, what doesn't work. Keisha says, "I have been extremely busy with the historical assets 1924 German bonds. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I'm not sure. That sounds like that's related to the GCR. I call it. I won't call it that other name. Uh, but I know you're busy. Appreciate the work you're doing. All of those people that are doing work behind the scenes, do appreciate you all. Oftentimes, they don't get a shout out, like the people who are working on the dinar, the currencies that can't really come out and say who they are, for security reasons. I respect, their privacy, by the way. And there's people I do understand that are genuine, that are working behind the scenes, and just want to acknowledge them. I'm not sure how many other gurus out there or top intel providers do that, but shout out to the people working behind the scenes for the betterment of humanity and things that sort. Those who do decide to do humanitarian projects, that's up to you. I'm not judgmental when it comes to that, what people decide to do. If God willing wants this, if it does ever take place, I know it seems like forever, forever and ever. I do believe it is real. I believed in the prosperity programs. I have heard about the bond settlements. I've heard about the CMKX lawsuit, allegedly that some things are being paid out. So I think it's some validity, truth, but they just necessarily, from what I'm gathering, can't come out publicly and mention some of these things. And then there's like a process before some of the other tiers take place or proceed forward, by the way. But to get back on the topic, keep in mind, for those of you all joining, this is open forum Q&A. This is also free consultation for tonight only. If I can't answer your questions, I will do my level best, as though, if it's a real consultation for those that contact me privately. I've never done this before, but and I can't say if I'm going to do this again specifically. Added on with open forum simply means it's open topic. It's not a generalized topic. It can branch off. If you guys have any statements, questions, or concerns, don't hesitate to chime in as usual. But I had a subscriber I'm going to go over in the meantime till we warm up based on how many people we get. I'll come back to the chat section. He asked me once again about where to file authentication paperwork. Generally speaking, they can be kind of broad. You have lower level authentication paperwork. So I gave him general reference because it appears as though he was referring to his local county at the time for some of the affidavits people utilize, because there are local authentications, not the ones that you necessarily do all the way up to the State Department. You take those and you would kind of sandwich it, but I don't know. I can't say how that process, if that's still working the same way, because I was even informed when I utilized that process back in 2014, I received an update from a source. I won't say the name at the time. Well, he was very helpful in helping getting people's paperwork filed in the state south from where I'm at. I'm up north, and he stated at the time they were no longer accepting the 10 by 14 legal size paper documents for the affidavits. So just little things like that. These gatekeepers, they're at it. And there's laws and stuff where they're not supposed to be doing that. There's already laws and stuff on the books, but see, they're trampling on our rights. They take advantage of our ignorance, and when there's not enough people who know how to file paperwork to enforce, to get them, these gatekeepers, some of these public officials that operate in misconduct, criminal misconduct, egregious violations. It's difficult when it's not a lot of people who know how to effectively enforce procedures to get them to comply with the law, by the way, because some of these people, they're in powerful positions, but keep in mind, they take advantage, that this does go on, by the way. So to delve in, he says the Superior Court in Georgia, he stated to me, no longer records miscellaneous filings that does not pertain to that county. I'm assuming her Lamar County, Georgia, by the way, which was one of the few states that had official land records, because they refer to your straw man as lost at sea. They're operating under Admiralty Maritime. Admiralty is military, and maritime is law of the seas. They've combined both jurisdictions together. Let me say that again. Admiralty is military, a maritime is law of the seas. They both kind of like go hand in hand because they combine both jurisdictions. When they created the process with the birth certificate, it goes back to olden times, way back. All roads lead to Rome. If you guys have heard that before, the process is thanks to Jordan Maxwell. Some of the work that he did, they came from with the captain during a certain time period. Don't quote me what period this was, but the captain of the Port Authority had to provide what was called a certificate of manifest. This is where they get the concept of the birth certificate from. The captain, and I'm piggybacking off of information from researcher Jordan Maxwell, study eschatology, astrology, and other things, forensic historian research that he brought forth. By the way, linguistics and things of that sort, phenomenal. And he went over this in the documentary that was given to me for free privately years ago by someone that I learned from. I can't say I studied under someone I was introduced to when I learned about this information many years ago. By the way, I have done my homework. I still have that DVD somewhere. By the way, I may see if I can get a copy of it and maybe upload that down the road to help some people out. It's a basic information, but very critical in helping people understand what's happening, how we're not being taught the real information within the school system. When you go to elementary school, middle school, high school, you're not learning the real information. By the way, and this DVD was very helpful, but this is where I'm piggybacking. So Jordan Maxwell broke down the birth certificate, goes back to where the captain had to provide for the Port Authority what was called a certificate of manifest. It had to have the ship's weight, the color of the ship, the ship's weight, similar to your driver's license, how some driver's license might have your eye color, your weight, you know, etc., your birth date, and it was called berthing. When the ship would come into the dock, it was called berthing. So he said the Port Authority had to provide for the certificate of manifest, what was called a certificate of manifest for the Port Authority. He said they get these concepts from water law, which is a maritime law of the seas, by the way, which is tied in jurisdictions that were combined with Admiralty. That's military. That's why you see the flags in the courtroom with the gold fringe. They've been captured. A lot of those judges, they're not supposed to be operating as their military tribunal de facto courts. The Erie Railroad versus Tompkins case, 1938, after the bankruptcy. It's not a coincidence. After the collapse of 1933, check the Erie Railroad versus Tompkins case in 1938. This is facts. Yusuf has talked about this. They changed many of the courts, went from common law to under color of law, statutory courts, by the way. So keep that in mind. For those of you all, this is how these things tie in. So they have you listed as lost at sea. So when you file the concept in certain counties, like Lamar County, Georgia, the concept is putting you back on land, because the concept, your straw man is deceding the state, is legally dead. The straw man is the voice of the estate, which they also use the term, this is Latin, you can look this up in a Black's Law Dictionary, civilitor mortis. Civilitor mortis, civil death, lost at sea. So they have you as you're alive, you're listed civically dead, because the concept is that you're using a fictional entity when you need to get obtain contracts with the government. You need to enter into, this is where the concepts derive from, because a corporation is considered is a corpse. It's not a coincidence. These words are connected. You go back to Roman law. There's a document that talks about capitis diminutio maxima, by the way, that you can still pull up online on Yahoo or Google. There's different various documents. Look up capitis diminutio maxima. Means won't tell me I lost the connection. Hopefully, we're still there. Checking my internet. Okay, we're back. It just briefly told me it may have gone out for a moment. So we're back. So to finish up, the concept goes back many years ago on a tombstone. That's why they had the name in all capital letters. They won't file out. Am I still there? it's saying that I went out. Love and light as well. Namaste. Kangaroo Jack says, welcome back. HH says, hello, brother. Humberto here, long time. I always watch your videos. Good night. Appreciate you, Humberto. Gracias, senor. Humberto, appreciate you. Gracias for watching the videos. By the way, staying in touch. Uh, so my reply was to this question, this open form Q&A consultation. Don't hesitate. Any statements, questions, or concerns you have, it's time to reach me. People complain, say, Dorsey, when are you available? I mean, it is for what it is.